Is Sweden a socialistic country? That's coming up. Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, and in the world of fake news that hear it all the time, I always see stories where they talk about Sweden. It doesn't matter what side, Democrat or Republican, but a lot of times they talk about Sweden as a socialistic model, or they talk about Nordic socialism, and they just bounce this word around like socialism all the time, and I hate when they do that, and I'll explain why. I think that Sweden is a capitalistic free market economy that happens to have strong social benefits, and I think it's a little disingenuous when you just talk about socialism in a certain way. And I wouldn't consider Sweden to be similar as like Russia or Venezuela when you talk about these type of models. So let's go into it. My first example when I talk about it is you just have to think of Swedish brands and Swedish companies in general. If you look at Espresso House, for example, they took the idea of the Starbucks kind of model, having a mass anywhere you can go get a coffee. You have Wayne's Coffee. I'm not sure if they're Swedish as well, but you have these coffee branches that have came out. You have IKEA, for example, very strong Swedish brand. Spotify, very strong Swedish brand. It's just gone public as well. And a lot of these companies and corporations are big in Sweden. There's a lot of that. And when it comes to shopping in Sweden, Sweden is a country that really likes brands. There's a lot of strong Swedish brands, but also buying brands, consuming brands. We're definitely a consumer culture, nowhere near at the same level as the United States, but people definitely buy t-shirts and things like that you're only going to use for a season. I think of H&M when I talk about those kind of brands. H&M, a brand that, is mass marketing clothes and things like that at the same exact time. But where maybe the social structure comes in has to do with healthcare. Of course, like, you don't have to worry that much about healthcare. Our tax system takes care of that. You have free education, and people have a retirement and pension here that I still recommend people get their own private pension, but if you didn't have a private pension, you still get social benefits here for that. That is due to the higher tax rate here in Sweden and taxes on products and everything else. The difference between Sweden and the US is going to be this high tax rate. I would say that a lot of Swedes, it's a very middle class society to upper middle class, but maybe there's not a lot of super rich people because you're definitely taxed high on your income. That being said, though, I think that Sweden really rewards corporations and companies as well. I've heard, and I'm not 100% sure on this one, someone can correct me, but I heard they're pretty decent at giving maybe tax breaks to companies and corporations, but a lot of income is taxed quite high. So Sweden likes workers. Sweden likes people coming here, working in the industry, these type of things. And Sweden wants people to buy and consume. We don't buy and consume things at the same level as Americans, of course, but it's definitely a consumer culture. So there's nothing wrong with that as well. And I just think that it needs to be more honest. I think that Sweden looks at the U.S. a lot model when it comes to capitalism and has used that to kind of mold what it wants to do. But it's also, for the longest time, it's been millions and millions of people kind of like, that all think, I don't want to say all think the same, but all think similarly. And I think that goes into a lot of the social benefits. It's just kind of how Sweden feels. There are private stuff. You still have like things owned by the government, certain things that work a certain way. You still have a Systembolaget. You have a PostNord, so like alcohol has to be all bought at one place. And you have the post office run by the government. So there are things that are state-run and government-run, but there's also a lot of free market economy stuff happening at the same time. So it's kind of a blend at both, but you can't just say Sweden's socialistic and you can't say it's capitalism, but I think that my definition of it is probably the most genuine and honest one, and I just think it's important to know. There are benefits to any system as well, but personally I believe that like capitalism is probably the best system in general, but a capitalism that uses strong social benefits might be the best system in the world. So when you're looking at models, the Swedish model is a very good one to look at it, but I don't think you can really pinpoint a country that just uses socialism and that works. that doesn't seem to have the best market, unless someone can point out a country. So you can't say Sweden is a socialistic country. It just doesn't work that way. But you can say they have strong social benefits. So what did I miss here, though? Like, if you're Swedish, like, how do you feel when people say Sweden and socialism in the same sentence? Do you think that's true? Do you think that's genuine? Or do you agree with me and think that Sweden does take a lot of capitalistic elements in their society, but they focus on taking care of the people? If you're new to the channel, I love to talk about my life and things here in Sweden. So go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.